Good afternoon from Honduras. Today I have a guest joining me. This is Hannah.
Hello.
So Hannah's been on my team since Nepal, so since January. So we spent a lot of time together, and today we thought we would share with you the topic feedback. So if you've ever met a world racer or heard a bit about World Race or read some blogs, you've probably heard the word feedback. And so we thought we'd take some time today to explain to you what feedback is and why it's been so important to our community. So first off, feedback is a way as a community that we help each other grow and we challenge each other to become our better selves. So every single day, we take the time to give each other feedback if it's necessary, and we give what's called constructive feedback and positive feedback. So constructive feedback is a way for us to point out things that we may not see, or so someone could point out in me maybe a blind spot, something that I don't realize I do, and they see, hey, here's a better way you could do that, a better way you could love me, a way for you to be a better you. And then positive feedback is when we point out something that someone does really well and we want to encourage them in that strength and help them grow in it.
Something important about constructive feedback is a lot of times people can take it in a way that seems like mean or like someone's nagging at you. When you give constructive feedback, like Ashley said, it's really not to do it out of spite or because you don't like a person or because you just want to correct someone all the time. It's genuinely out of love, and it's because you love that person and you want them to grow and be a better version of Christ. And so when you give constructive feedback, it's really important that if it is something that's hard, you take it to the Lord and you make sure that the words you're going to say are from the Lord and will help that person grow. And so if someone hurts your feelings or there's a stressful situation, and you want to kind of talk about it, it's really important not to do it from a side of anger or spite or trying to change a person. It's ultimately about making that person better and saying, this happened, and I just want to make you aware of how it made me feel in that moment. And so just remember, anytime that might come up, you might engage in it, it really is to better the person and not to tear them down. And also, feedback is kind of a two-way street. You need to be in prayer about how you're going to give it and give it in a way that someone can understand and grow from. But if you receive feedback that is kind of hard or you don't agree with or you love any kind of feedback that you might receive, it's really important that you just receive it and you don't take it defensively and try to explain it away. If someone is going out of their comfort zone to point this out to you doesn't make them feel very good. If you defend yourself and explain away your behavior, it's important that you give feedback well and in a loving way, and you also receive it in a loving way.
So like I mentioned before, feedback is something that we do a lot on the race. We do it during team time every single night, and we do it on the spot as well. So if we see someone do something and we want to point out to them that, like, hey, that was really good, or hey, you could have done that better, we'll give them the feedback right there in the moment. And I think the most important thing we've all learned is that giving feedback is not easy at all. It's not comfortable at first, and learning how to use the right words and verbalize what you want to say to them takes time to figure out how to do properly. And so this is not something that we became good at overnight. It has taken us 10 months now to figure out how to give each other feedback, but it's definitely been one of the most beneficial things we've experienced on the race. And so right now we want to give you an example of what feedback looks like. So Hannah's going to give me some feedback, and I'm hopefully going to show you what it looks like to receive feedback well.
Okay, Ashley, I have some feedback for you, and I want to bring it to you because I know it's not your heart or intention. But the other day when I was working on that fundraising project, you came in and were asking all the details and were telling me and my team kind of that we needed to get going on it and what our next step should be. And you were on a different team. It kind of made me feel like you didn't trust me to get that job done. And I know that's not your intention. I know it's just you wanting to make sure that everything gets done. You love to make sure we accomplish things, but it made me feel unloved and untrusted. So in the future, just remember that I do have it under control, and that you don't always have to check that everything is going to finish in completion, and just know that I'll get it done.
Thank you. So, like we said, feedback can be a little awkward, but that is how we've been doing feedback in our community. And right there in that moment, I had the opportunity to defend myself and try to tell Hannah, no, I wasn't wanting to question whether you're going to get it done, or I wasn't trying to not trust you, but the way we've learned to do feedback is to just simply say thank you. Yes, maybe those are thoughts that went through my head, but now it's my job to take the feedback she gave me and bring it to the Lord and ask Him, is this valid? Am I questioning people and asking if they're getting the job done because I don't trust them? And what does it look like for me to love my community better? And so that's just how we've learned to do feedback, and it's worked really well for us. If you ever don't understand feedback you've received, you can always go back the next day to them, and I could ask Hannah, hey, can you give me another example of when you felt not trusted by me? And right there, she can tell me another time maybe that I've done what she just explained so that I can hopefully learn from my past mistakes and improve in the future. So feedback has been just so good on the race. Like I said, it's hard, but we love it. And so Hannah and I both are going to share with you feedback we've received on the race that has helped us grow, just so that you can get a feel for how life-changing feedback really can be and how beneficial it is to communities. So first, a positive feedback I've received on the race is that I'm a person who, when I want to accomplish something, I come up with a vision for it and I do it. And people on my team have told me that I'm a go-getter and someone who just gets the job done and doesn't let it just sit around. And so by hearing that encouraging feedback, it's allowed me to realize that that's a strength of mine and that not everyone implements things immediately when they create a plan. And so I've been able to help encourage others to do that and also continue to do it in my life. A constructive feedback I have received is the feedback Hannah just gave me. She gave it to me, I think 2 months ago. And that feedback has really helped me see how I can better love people when they're working on projects, and how I can maybe ask them how the project's doing, but never interrogate them and make them feel like I don't trust them. And so it's allowed me to take a step back when it's not my project and to see that it is really important for me to trust my community. And in the end, I honestly think that the constructive feedback is helping me be a better person, which is the objective of all of the feedback.
Yeah, so a positive feedback that I received was that I'm a joyous person, and that it can kind of change the atmosphere in a room sometimes. And like I knew previously to receiving that feedback that I was joyful, but hearing how it can affect people and not only be kind of a state of being, but also a gift to implement change, kind of like encouraged me to use it to do just that, to implement change and to lift people up and use it more as a active gift rather than just something that I am. And so that was kind of really changing for me to take something that I knew I was already decent at. I knew I was a joyful person, but now I have vision for how I can use that to further the kingdom. And a constructive feedback that I received is from Ashley. So I sometimes have trouble connecting my thoughts and getting my thoughts into words, and I verbally process and I tend to ramble. And so a few months ago, that was really often how I communicated. And so if I was trying to make a decision or ask a certain question, often it would take me a long time to get to the heart of the question, and I would have all these trains of thoughts and verbal processing that would happen in the process. And for someone who doesn't necessarily work that way, Ashley told me that it was really confusing to follow sometimes, and that the heart of my intentions and what I was trying to do were getting lost. And so to be a better leader, if I would communicate a little more concisely, then whatever I was trying to do would come across more effectively. And so I didn't realize that was a thing that I did, but when she brought it to light, I was like, oh no, I do that all the time, and I totally understand how that could be confusing. And so since then, I've really tried to tailor how I give I guess, any kind of direction or question or anything that in my time as team leader could come across as confusing if I didn't deliver it concisely. And it just really has helped me in my leadership, and not just in team leading, but just communicating with people. And so not only will that help me on the race, but in the future when I'm in leadership positions, like knowing that I need to communicate concisely, and it will ultimately help me be a better person. Like, I'm so thankful to have had that brought to light, and it really has started to change how I interact, and has made me a better leader and a better person.
So there's just a little glimpse of how feedback has really just affected our lives this year. It's been fun to grow as a person, and then also good to watch people grow. I've gotten to see Hannah walk through different feedback that she's received and been able to turn it into positive feedback and tell her, hey, you've grown a ton in this, and this is turning into a strength for you. So we love feedback. We hope you've enjoyed hearing about it, and yeah, have a great day.